So this is how it works in habit formation. We anticipate the reward. So the dopamine levels in your brain spike when you expect something positive to happen. For example, thinking about how good you're going to feel after the Pilates class, that can motivate you to attend it. Habit reinforcement. When you experience the reward, those post-class endorphins or that feeling of accomplishment, that dopamine reinforces the behavior, making it more likely you're going to do it again. Welcome. Stick around if you want to learn about the art and philosophy of beautiful movement mixed with evidence-based exercise science. We will be having tough and inspiring conversations with other coaches, experts, artists, and athletes. Our goal is to challenge myths, explore concepts, and engage in healthy debate as we dive deep with intrigue and curiosity. I'm your host, Hannah Deutscher. I've been teaching dance, Pilates, and yoga for over 2 decades. And what I've learned is that movement can be the joy that integrates us all together. When we can trust and express ourselves through our bodies, we are unlimited in our ability to change ourselves and our communities for the better. We, as movement teachers and coaches, have the power to help people experience this for themselves. Okay, everyone, let's dive in. Exchanging ideas and changing people's lives one session at a time. This is the Pilates Exchange. Welcome back to the Pilates Exchange, everyone. We are diving into a new year, new beginnings, all the things. I thought I'd celebrate this energy of new with talking about how are we going to build these new habits? How are we going to use this motivation that we have in the new year to really create some lasting change that is going to be helpful for you and for your life, for your new healthy lifestyle? And the way that I thought would be the most helpful is this episode is not only for my teachers this time, this is also for any of our clients, anyone that follows us, and pretty much anyone that's looking for a new healthy change. Oftentimes when we go into a new year and these new ideas of habits and all the things we're going to change, we're using that forward momentum, and that momentum is only going to take us so far. So what I'd like to do today is to really dive a little bit deeper into the practical tools of how we're going to create lasting change. How does our brain work when we're making these changes so that you can implement these new ideas into new healthy habits that are going to last not just the first couple of months, but really take you through for a new year. I do know that these things work. Okay, so they've worked. These tools that I'm going to be giving you, they work for me. They've worked for me to create new healthy habits, from changing my eating patterns to working out more consistently. They've always worked for my clients as well, and for different things. So it's not just about, a lot of the times in the new year, people are talking about losing weight and stuff. And I'm not emphasizing that at all. That is not what our studio is about, but healthy habits of exercise that's going to help you for a lifetime of good health, of wellness, of feeling great in your body. So not only your body, but your brain health. These are exercise habits that are going to also help you manage pain levels, recover from injury, learn something new. So it could be any which way you would like to use these habits. Doesn't have to be exercise focused at all. You're going to use them in any way that because the science behind it stays the same no matter what sort of change that you are implementing. The first thing we're going to do is jump into understanding habit formation, because that's what we're looking for. Once we think about what it is that those resolutions, right? Those New Year's resolutions, we have to think about the resolution part of it. Like, I resolve, I'm going to do this, is not so important. It's the habit formation that is really interesting for us. And there's super great science that's behind it. So Charles Duhigg, from his book, The Power of Habit, says, rather, to change a habit, you must keep the old cue and deliver the old reward, but insert a new routine. Okay, so let me read that again. Rather, to change a habit, you must keep the old cue and deliver the old reward, but insert a new routine. So what are we talking about when we are thinking about habit formations? Coming right from his book, The Power of Habit, the habit loop is a framework, and they all come down to different, let's say, interconnected components: the cue, the routine, and the reward. So let's explore each part of this. The cue. The cue is a trigger that initiates the habit. It's that signal that says to your brain to go into automatic mode, and then it prompts a particular behavior. Cues can be external, like we're seeing the yoga mat or the Pilates mat, or it could be internal, like I'm feeling stressed. Okay. So examples of a different cue would be, it's a specific time of day, like when are we waking up, or lunchtime, or after work. Another cue could be a location. So I'm arriving at the Pilates studio. It could be emotional state, feeling anxious, feeling stressed, feeling tired, and that will cue you to do something else. It could be a preceding action. So something like you finish your morning coffee and then something else happens, for example. So then it goes into the routine. The routine is the behavior that follows. So the routine is the behavior or the action that follows the cue. And that's what we commonly think about as the habit itself. So over time, the routine is going to become automatic because your brain always seeks efficiency and wants to just save the effort. So we don't want to have to think about doing this every single time. So for an example, you attend the Pilates class after you see the notification on the phone that you should do it. Another one would be after lunch, you're going to take a short walk to clear your mind. Or that routine of reaching for the healthy snack when you feel hungry. Okay, that's great. Those are routines that are going to be set in place. Then the reward. The reward is a positive outcome that reinforces the habit and encourages your brain to repeat it in the future, right? Like if there's no good reward to it, it's not going to happen. So that satisfies a craving or it fulfills a need. So for example, it's physical relaxation or mental clarity, or maybe it's that social connection that becomes the reward that you want. So some examples. After class, you're feeling energized and you're proud after you've completed that hard workout. Or you're experiencing reduced stress because you've just completed some stretching, like your stretching routine, whatever you've set up. Or another reward, you're enjoying the taste of that healthy meal after you've been cooking at home. So here's how it works together. Your cue triggers your brain to start the behavior. The routine, the behavior you perform is in response to that cue. So cue, routine, and then we go to reward. The reward reinforces that habit loop by making your brain crave the routine the next time that cue appears, right? Cue, routine, reward. And that's how it all works together. So let's talk about some examples. Let's build a Pilates habit. Cue. You set out your workout clothes the night before, right? So you are registered for the class. It's a morning class. So the first thing you're going to do is see those clothes. The routine. You're going to attend that morning Pilates class. Reward. You're going to feel stronger, feel more flexible, you're feeling accomplished, and you're just going into that day with that new great energy. So by consistently pairing that cue with the routine, you're going to get this satisfying feeling, that reward, and then this loop, this cue, routine, reward becomes this reinforced habit. So that eventually we're not going to have to think about it so much. So maybe it takes a few weeks of doing, maybe it takes 6 weeks or 8 weeks or 12 weeks to create that new habit. In the beginning, it's going to be hard, but then it becomes such the routine. You don't need to think about it. You register for your class, you put out your clothing, you wake up, you get to your class. I know it seems easier the way I say it. That's basically that loop, that habit loop that we're talking about. In that habit loop, so what's actually happening in our brain, because that's interesting. That's something called neuroplasticity. And we need that to create these new habits, because we also need to know that the brain can reorganize itself. So That sounded like it's going to reorganize all the files, but it reworks itself so that you can become that morning Pilates person that you've always dreamed about. And that's really interesting in the habit formation of things. So let's talk a little bit more about the neuroplasticity. So Dr. Huberman says dopamine is a currency, and it's the way that you track pleasure and track success. I'll link to his podcast because he has a great episode on this. So what is this? Okay, so we said neuroplasticity, right? So there's a chemical in the brain called dopamine. I'm sure you've heard about that before. Dopamine is often referred to as the motivation molecule or the reward chemical. And it plays a really important role in how we experience pleasure, how we pursue goals, and form habits. Dopamine is released in the brain when we anticipate or experience a reward, creates this feeling of satisfaction or excitement. And then that drives us to repeat the behaviors that led to that reward. However, dopamine isn't just about rewards. It's primarily about the pursuit of awards. So it fuels really that desire to take action, making it really important for motivation and habit building. So this is how it works in habit formation. We anticipate the reward. So the dopamine levels in your brain spike when you expect something positive to happen. For example, thinking about how good you're going to feel after the Pilates class, that can motivate you to attend it. Habit reinforcement. When you experience the reward, those post-class endorphins or that feeling of accomplishment, that dopamine reinforces the behavior, making it more likely you're going to do it again. Or the cue-driven behavior. Over time, cues, for example, seeing those workout clothes or receiving the class reminder, trigger already the dopamine release, which then prompts your action. Which is just fascinating that your brain is going to release those hormones in anticipation of how good you're going to feel after that Pilates class. So what do we do? How do we leverage this brain chemistry to build a new habit? Well, we're going to set small, achievable goals. So dopamine thrives on progress. So we're going to break down our habits into small little steps so you are experiencing frequent wins, right? We don't want to go for the big, like, I'm going to do 10,000 classes. Too big, way too much. We're going to go small little things. So for example, you're going to commit to attending one class per week. And then maybe you're gradually going to increase it. Maybe. You're going to reward yourself, even if that's mentally, just for showing up, no matter how small that effort is. Another way to leverage the dopamine is we're going to create a sense of anticipation. We're going to build the excitement for the activity by focusing on the positive outcomes you're going to experience. So, for example, we're again visualizing how energized and accomplished you're going to feel after that class. We're going to celebrate immediate rewards. So that's where dopamine really responds strongly to those immediate rewards. So we're going to find ways to celebrate that completion of that new habit. So after attending the class, maybe it's treating yourself to a smoothie or a relaxing moment, or maybe it's just checking that off in your habit tracker or in your journal of, okay, I've done it. So that's that little celebration there. We can also use leveraging your social connections. Now, we know from just the science, lifestyle medicine, social connections are so important for our health. So dopamine is also linked to social rewards. So incorporate the community into your habits. In our studio, you're set up for that already. So, we have a very big community component in our classes, but maybe it's for you, it's attending a class with a friend, or you're going to participate in an online challenge so that you feel supported and recognized. You're going to use positive cues. We're pairing that habit with a dopamine triggering cue to create excitement. So, for example, maybe it's your favorite workout music playlist for your studio classes, or going for a run with your favorite playlist. Or maybe if you're working at home, it's lighting a candle before the start of an online workout. I'd love for you to track your progress. You're going to monitor that, and like seeing that streak of habits builds that sense of achievement. And then it helps you continue to go further. So maybe it's a habit tracker. There's a lot of great apps for that. Maybe it's in the diary. And so you're seeing that like length of time that you're doing your new habit. Maybe something also to just be aware of as far as talking about dopamine is dopamine thrives on novelty. So if you're feeling bored or unmotivated, try to vary your routine. So with us, maybe that means you're going to alternate between Pilates and bar classes and online classes, or switch the teacher that you're working with just to keep things fresh. So what are these practical applications of harnessing that dopamine? All right. So scenario 1, you're attending studio classes. So here's your cue. You schedule your class the night before. You set out your workout clothes. Routine. You attend the class and you focus on how good that feels. Reward. You enjoy that post-class endorphin rush and you hang out and chat with your fellow participants and you complain about how hard the class was. No, just kidding. You spend some time, even just a couple of minutes, just enjoying that feeling of accomplishing it. Maybe scenario 2, you've completed your online workout. Okay, so Q, you've created a dedicated workout space and a time for your session. Routine, you're going to start that short workout, maybe 10 minutes, and try to build that consistency. Reward, you're going to check that off on your calendar and then afterwards enjoy a relaxing cup of tea. For example, you're going to have to make these work for you. As James Clear says in his book, Atomic Habits, all big things come from small beginnings. The seed of every habit is a single tiny decision. But as that decision is repeated, the habit sprouts and grows stronger. So I really like that book too. I'll link to that one. So let's talk now about starting small for sustainable change. So those tiny habits, beginning with small, manageable actions, are really, I think, very interesting for us. Small actions, and then the idea of habit stacking, I like. That's the idea that we are linking new habits to existing ones, and that helps us build a routine. So this is really a strategy for building new habits. It's sort of like I said, it's attaching them to an existing habit. So instead of trying to create an entirely new behavior from scratch, you stack it, you layer it onto something you're already doing consistently. So this kind of approach leverages the established habit as a cue for the new one, making it easier to remember and easier to integrate it into your new routine. So this concept is really from James Clear in his book, Atomic Habits, where he explains the key to tie your desired behavior to something you already do each day. Let me say that again. The key is to tie your desired behavior to something you already do each day. So how do we do this? We identify an existing habit, something that you already do daily without fail. For example, brushing your teeth, making your coffee, checking your phone in the morning. We attach a new habit to it. So we link whatever new behavior is to the existing habit. So the old habit becomes the cue for the new one. We're going to keep it small and specific. Again, small, manageable actions will help build that momentum. And then we're going to use a really clear formula for that. So after or before existing habit, I will do new habit. So let's go through some examples of habit stacking. This one will be, let's do a few for fitness and exercise Pilates. After I brush my teeth in the morning, I will do 10 minutes of Pilates. Okay. And then, you would have already thought about, okay, which video you're going to do, or are you just going to follow your own routine? All of that is extra little stuff. It's about that stacking. After I brush my teeth in the morning, I will do 10 minutes of Pilates. Before I shower at night, I will stretch for 5 minutes. Okay, it's very specific there. After I come home from work, I will set out my workout clothes for the next day, right? So very, very specific. Let's consider nutrition and wellness. After I make my morning coffee, I will prepare a healthy breakfast. Before I start cooking dinner, I will drink a glass of water, right? Like you already have to cook dinner. So before I start cooking dinner, I will drink a glass of water. You're going to eat lunch. So, right? So let's stack it with there. After I eat lunch, I will take a short walk. Let's consider some habit stacking for mental and emotional health. After I wake up, I will write one thing I'm grateful for in my journal. All right? Before I go to bed, I will meditate for 2 minutes. After I turn off my work computer, I will take 5 deep breaths. Right? So these are small, right? That we're talking about small and specific. Small and specific. So we can really create some manageable action. It might not be the big things at this point, but it's small, specific, and that's how we habit stack in there. So what can it look like maybe in real life? So let's imagine that we're going to add a short Pilates routine into your day. So existing habit. After brewing your morning coffee, new habit. You're going to roll out your mat and do 5 minutes of core exercises. The reward. You're going to feel satisfied to starting your day feeling energized. So here's the formula. After I make my coffee, I will do 5 minutes of Pilates. So by stacking that habit with the familiar routine of already making your coffee, you're more likely to remember it and to repeat it. And there's a lot of benefits for habit stacking like this. Simplicity, right? You're just building on the habits that are already there. So we don't need to have like a separate big cue for them. It's efficient. It's going to fit seamlessly into your routine and momentum. So those small habits, those small things often lead to bigger lasting changes over time. Like once you've mastered that sort of idea of habit stacking, you can make a chain of habits. So for example, after I wake up, I'm going to drink a glass of water. After I drink water, I'm going to write in my journal. After I journal, I will do 10 minutes of Pilates. And it creates like this cascade of routine, right? A powerful sequence of positive habits. And that is then a lifetime of change. It's a lifetime of really great work in your life. All right, my friends. So how are we going to make this practical for building your new exercise habits? We're going to get actionable strategies and we're going to leverage the psychological and behavioral science behind it that we've just been talking about it to build a new sustainable habit, whether it's in studio or it's for our online people. We're going to start small and build gradually. So why is this going to work? The small goals are less intimidating and they're easier to achieve, which is going to increase your dopamine and your motivation. How we're going to apply this? Maybe it's going to be a 10 or 15 minute of exercise routine if you're doing it online, or maybe it's just committing to that one class a week. We might want to gradually increase the duration or the frequency once it becomes part of your routine. We're going to set clear and specific goals. Why is this going to work? Specific goals give you a clear target and make that progress measurable. So we're going to use that SMART method. We love that. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. What does that look like? I will attend 4 Pilates classes this month to improve my core strength. Okay? Nice and clear, very specific. We're going to use cues to trigger the habit. Why is this going to work? A consistent cue helps your brain associate a specific action with the behavior, like we talked about before. So how do we apply it? Leave your workout clothes out the night before. So they're already there. We don't need to look for them. They're already there. You're going to set reminders on your phone or link that workout to an existing habit. Example, after I finish my morning coffee, I'm going to do my workout. We're going to pair these new habits with rewards. Why is it going to work? It's going to increase that dopamine. It reinforces the habit and it makes it much more appealing. How are we going to apply it? We're going to reward yourself after the workout. For example, a smoothie, a relaxing shower, marking it in your progress tracker, your habit tracker. We're going to focus on those intrinsic rewards like that sense of accomplishment, or improved mood after you exercise. Maybe let's create some accountability. Why is this going to work? Because knowing someone else is aware of your goals increases your likelihood of following through. So how do we apply that one? We partner with a friend to attend classes together or check in about your progress, or you're going to be telling us in the studio what we're trying to achieve. That helps us check out for you, right? We're going to check in with you, make sure that works. So you're going to share your goals with the instructor, or you're going to join a community challenge. We have those as well. It's really going to help with that accountability. We're going to track your progress. So why does this work? Seeing your progress provides a sense of achievement, and it encourages that consistency. So let's apply it. You're going to use a journal, an app, or a calendar to record each workout. Track it how it makes sense for you. We're going to celebrate those streaks or those milestones, such as completing a week of those consistent workouts, right? If you see how that work is just adding into that habit bank, that's such a great feeling. We're going to try to reduce the friction here. Why it works. If you make the habit easier to start, it removes the barriers to action. For example, preparing your workout clothes or your workout gear and space in advance, right? It helps you reduce the barriers. Choose a studio or an online program with flexible scheduling to fit your lifestyle. Like in our studio, you can attend pretty much any of the classes. We're open Monday through Sunday. So something that fits for you, or maybe it's an on-demand program where you can choose. You don't have to attend to a specific class in a specific time. Maybe it is that you need that flexibility. Reducing the friction helps you get on it, right? We're going to focus on community and action. Why that works. Social interaction enhances motivation and increases that sense of belonging. How are we going to apply that? We're going to join those group classes in our studio or participate in live online sessions maybe. We're going to engage with others through studio challenges, social media, client forums, in the classes, outside of the classes. So much more fun that way. We're going to use some visualization and anticipation. So why it works, imagining just the positive outcomes triggers dopamine release. It's building that excitement and motivation. How do we apply it? We already visualize how you're going to feel after that workout. You're going to feel energized, strong, accomplished. Maybe we're going to set those weekly intentions like this week I'm focusing on my balance in the bar class, for example. We're going to be flexible but consistent. So flexibility allows you to adapt to life's unpredictability, still while maintaining your habit. So if you can't attend a full hour class, do short 10-minute workout instead. We are going to allow for missed days without guilt. We're just going to focus on showing up again on that next day, right? So no guilt in here. We're going to celebrate those small wins. Positive reinforcement helps you stay motivated. It keeps you motivated, and it's going to build that momentum. We're going to acknowledge even the small steps, like attending your first class or trying a new exercise. We're going to treat ourselves to non-food rewards for bigger milestones, such as completing a 30-day challenge. We're going to adapt goals as we progress. So adjusting your goals are going to keep them relevant and challenging as you grow. So you might need to reassess every month, increasing the difficulty or the variety. Maybe you're going to attend different Pilates classes, looking for different exercises. Maybe it's with a different trainer. Maybe you're trying an advanced bar class, for example. We're going to allow that adaptation to shift focus if needed. Maybe it's moving from consistency to improving specific skills, for example. So all of these things, all of these different strategies, when you implement them consistently, is really going to make exercise a lasting change. That's what we're working on, an enjoyable part of our lifestyle. I'm really excited for you as you think about how you're going to apply these going forward in the new year. You're welcome to join us. Our focus this whole month is new beginnings. We have everything from a new beginnings playlist in our on-demand membership, our online membership that has short, attainable workouts. You might want to join us in the studio. If you're here in Nuremberg, Germany, we're going to be celebrating our 10-year anniversary, and we have a lot of fun things planned over there. So building in that community, we would love to see you and love to celebrate you as you embark on this new year. Have a happy and healthy start. Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. A great cost-free way of supporting us and the podcast would be to give us a 5-star rating. You could also look down into the show notes and grab any one of the free resources for teachers. I hope to see you next week on the Pilates Exchange. Happy teaching, everyone.